Well, maybe the most controversial thing you've never heard of, a system called Luma. And if you know, you know. If you're in that kind of work, you do know what Luma is. If you don't, Luma is a software used by the entire state government in Idaho since 2019. It hosts business platforms like budgets, payroll, purchasing, that kind of stuff. State employees have been outspoken, calling that system complicated, and it's been ineffective. It's made their jobs harder, and it's made government less effective, according to them. It's gotten to the point where Idaho's Office of Performance Evaluation, a group of lawmakers focused on accountability, they did an in-depth audit of it. And they found out it's an expensive program as well. Estimates have ongoing costs totaling more than $200 million over the next 2 years. Joe Paris sat down with the office in charge of the program, asked how they're going to fix this biggest problem you've never heard of.
An extended 80-page report highlights that one of Idaho's biggest behind-the-scenes projects has been challenging, to say the least. Idaho's multi-million-dollar business system, Luma.
It means to illuminate or shine light on, and that's follows the path of what we always try to do in this Office of Transparency. But
Brendan Woolf is Idaho's state controller. His office is in charge of the Luma system.
Finance, HR, payroll, budget, and procurement, all tied into one unified system.
Idaho really began to roll out the system in 2019. Since then, they've been inundated with some issues and complaints.
It was to replace our old legacy systems. Our old accounting and old payroll systems were put in the late 80s, early 90s, and so a legacy mainframe system. So the whole purpose was to modernize and to bring up to speed where we are with the state.
Project to get a new system actually dates back about a decade. But when it did finally launch, it was complicated by the ongoing global pandemic.
A big, massive system is hard to implement and do in normal good times, but when you throw on a global pandemic, that adds a little bit of pain to the whole process.
Still, Controller Woolf says he owns the project and negative feedback, and they want to address it. The Office of Performance Evaluation echoed the problems in their report, saying in part, quote, "We found that overall, the transition to Luma had a negative impact on state agencies. State employees reported that Luma is less efficient than legacy systems and overly complicated. We found that employees lack adequate, updated training resources with step-by-step instructions." Woolf sees the OPE report as an opportunity to get this right.
Back in 2019, before we even started, in our charter it said, this project will be difficult. But through hard work and dedication and effort of all the state employees, everyone involved, we can get there, and we can get there.
While OPE definitely identifies major steps that need to be taken, they did also acknowledge that sticking with Luma is the correct option.
There's a lot of things in there that we're like, hey, we can do better. We need to be better. And there's a lot of things in there we're like, hey, we're already working on those. We're already solving those.
Is it encouraging that OPE says, hey, you guys are on the right path, and this isn't a situation where it's, well, we just put so much money into this, we have to stick with it whether we like it or not?
It gave great comfort of what their comments were to say, hey, this is the right direction and the right path going forward.
And when we tell you this is the biggest problem you've never heard of, I'm not kidding you. Almost any time I talk with a member of the government in terms of the state government, they ask, do you know about Luma? Have you done some reporting on it? Well, there are some action items that the recent audit and the conversations have translated to. One of the things, they understand training inadequacies. The state controller's office taking some, I guess, some moves to get some training positions. They're developing a new training tool to help automate process documentation. They also want to create a financial academy to build accounting expertise. And they also say that, yeah, the system is complex. And Controller Woolf noted that the natural complexity of the system translates into, initially we encounter a dip in productivity as users adapt the new system. We're hoping it does get back up. It is, though, one of these things where when you talk to people that have used the program, they really did not like the way it worked. But there's also this growing understanding that it is a new system, and you have people that worked on other programs for decades.
That's not just working out the kinks then.
Right. There's a lot of things that need to be changed, and they understand that. By the way, again, as Brian mentioned, the total cost of this sounds to be about $220 million through 2034.
It's a lot of money. All right.
That's why they want to get it right.
Yeah, exactly.